Okay. So, when we're in a relationship with somebody, we show our love to them in a multitude of ways, right? Um, but love can sometimes be this very broad concept. I like to simplify things where I can understand things better. Um, and loving or love is one of these things. And when I thought of this verse came to mind from the Bible, and it's in Matthew chapter 3, verses 16 and 17. And the whole context is this is where Jesus, before he began his ministry, was baptized. So I'll read it here. So, Matthew chapter 3, this is verse 16. As soon as Jesus was baptized, he went up out of the water. At that moment, heaven was opened, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and alighting on him. Verse 17. And a voice from heaven said, pay attention here, this is my Son, whom I love. With him I am well pleased. So the key here is in verse 17. When we say we love somebody, right? Again, it could be such a broad scope. Like, how do you really love somebody? There are multiple ways you can love them. It could be with your words, with your actions. You could buy people gifts, physical touch, hugging, right? Embracing, physically embracing, um, stuff like that. But I think this verse really simplifies a deeper root meaning of what it is to love. And it's two things that God does here. And the first one is acknowledging his son. Keep in mind, before Jesus started his ministry, he did absolutely nothing except be. And when God says, this is my son, he's basically looking down saying, hey, that's my son. He didn't have to do anything to be my son. And I love him just because of who he is. Again, he says, this is my son whom I love. And the second one is, with him I am well pleased, being appreciated. So he didn't have to do anything, anything to be acknowledged or appreciated. It's just who he is. It's who God said he is, right? And I find a lot of times in relationships, people feel like in order for them to be loved by their husband, by their wife, you could even take this out of the marriage, girlfriend, boyfriend, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandfather, your mom, your dad, right? A lot of the times people will feel like they have to do something in order for them to be loved. You can even take that vice versa. Some people will think somebody has to do something for me in order for me to love them. Like it's a you do something, I'll love you sort of thing. But here God sets the example. Do you know what? Loving someone is just acknowledging them, like saying, hey, I see you, and then appreciating them. Man, you don't have to do anything. I just appreciate you for who you are, right? So, in our relationships, in my relationship with my wife, I tend to do this a lot. Sometimes I just do it subconsciously because before I even married my wife, I told her, it's like, dude, I love you for who you are and not what you do. I mean, what you do is part of the package of who you are, and I love that. But even if the things that you do, the things that interest you change, I'm still gonna love you, right? So it's just acknowledging her for who she is. And that's one of the very deep roots of showing how you can love that person. And then the second one is just being appreciative of who they are, right? Again, my wife doesn't have to do anything for me to appreciate her. She just has to be there for me to appreciate her because of who she is. Now, you could take this further where once they know who they are, once you know who they are, and they do things for you. For example, like right now, my my wife's doing the dishes for me because we meal prepped. I cooked, so she's doing the dishes for me, and she absolutely hates doing the dishes. Like whenever she can avoid it, she'll be like, "I'll do it later. I'll do it later." And I'm like, mm-hmm. But and then sometimes I'll just do the dishes myself. But how she is, like she's doing the dishes now, like, dude, I tell her, I'm like, I appreciate you so much for doing the dishes. Cause to be honest, I don't mean I don't like doing the dishes either. I don't think anybody likes doing the dishes. Which is funny because we have a dishwasher. This is an Asian thing. It's got to be an Asian thing, right? I don't know. But our dishwasher works perfectly, but we use it as a storage rack. So the dishwasher is me or my wife. So right now she's totally doing the dishes. And I appreciate for her for that. But let's just say she wasn't doing the dishes and she was tired and she just didn't feel like doing it and I didn't feel like doing it. It doesn't stop me from appreciating her. This is what we have to get wrapped around in our tiny little brains. It's when we show that we love somebody, we can't always base that love on what they do, right? Because let's face it, a lot of the times our spouse, our partner, our brother, our sister, our parents, our, whoever we have relationships with, they're going to do something that's going to piss us off or make us angry or make us frustrated, right? And in those times, do we stop loving them? Because love is a choice. Love is a choice to love that person for who they are, whether they mess up or whether they do great, right? Again, it's a relationship you choose to be in. You don't have to have that relationship with them. You could literally cut off that relationship with them if you want. Like, even if they're your mother, your father, like, when you get older, you're 18, you're like, you know what? I had terrible parents. I'm just going to cut that relationship off. But the mere fact that if you want to have a relationship with whoever, your mom, your dad, definitely your wife or your husband, right? You're choosing in sickness and health, for richer or for poorer, you are choosing to love them. You're acknowledging them for who they are from the very beginning, right? Before you guys got married, you chose them and you appreciated them just because of who they were, who they are, who they're going to be, right? So it's like, it just amazes me how a lot of the times when we're having difficult situations or a difficult season in our relationship with our spouse, with those we love, right? We will be so quick to anger and so quick to just stop loving them. This is the thing Jesus said. Jesus says to love people. But here's the thing. Sometimes people do stupid things. People do stupid things to piss us off, right? But we're still to love that person, but not love what they do. And I find a lot of people have this problem of separating the person from what they do, right? Again, separating the person, who they are, who they were created to be, image of God, to see them through God's eyes, because that's their original creation. That's they were created to be originally, right? And we're so focused on what they do, and sometimes we even do this. Sometimes we'll even merge what they do into who they are, right? Like, we don't see them for the value God places on them. And this is why a lot of people, like even me myself sometimes, a lot of people will always merge a negative action and say, why are you such a jerk? Why are you dumb? Why are you stupid? Why are you like that? Instead of separating the dumb thing or the thing that made us angry away from them. Why can't we say, I don't like what you did. I still love you. I love you, but I hate what you did. Right? I rarely hear people say that. And I think this is where a lot of people just get tripped up. So again, going back to that verse, Matthew chapter 3 verse 17, God shows us what it is to love. Like in its simplest form, it's to acknowledge, hey, I see you. Whether you're doing good, whether you're not doing or you're doing bad, I see you. And to appreciate in whom he was well pleased. And I'm just pleased with you because of who you are. Right? So if we can wrap our heads around this, such a simple thing, and remember this in the times where people piss us off, we get angry at them, they do something stupid, I think this will help greatly in moving your relationship forward with said person. Right? Because at the end of the day, the reason you love somebody and you're in a relationship with that person is because you want to grow that relationship. Like, what relationship do you want to be in that just stays stagnant? No, you want your relationship to grow with people, especially your wife or your husband, right? Or your girlfriend or your boyfriend. Like when you're in the boyfriend girlfriend stages, hopefully, right? I know not everybody wants this, but hopefully this is the person you want to marry sometime down the road, right? You want to grow in that relationship. And if you're in those early stages where you're just dating, again, this is where you learn how to love that person just for who they are. Again, a lot of the times they may piss you off, they may do something to anger you, but love, again, based on this verse, is acknowledging who they are and just appreciating who they are and separating the things that anger you, that they do that anger you or piss you off or frustrate you, aside. You can even look at it this way. It's like if you're in a relationship with somebody, look at it as if you guys are a team. Like it's two of you against, I know people say it's me and you against the world. But in reality, I mean it can be, right? But it's two of you on a team, living out God's purpose for your life together, right? Or you can even say living out your purpose together. Living out your purpose together. So yeah, I don't know. That's just one of the things that was on my mind today when I was just meditating and that verse popped up and I'm like, wait, hold on. To love is actually just to be acknowledged and appreciated. You ever see those guys? I actually used to be one of those guys where I was always a quiet kid. I was always the quiet one. And I was shy too. Totally an introvert. And a lot of the times, my older brother, this is when we were younger, my older brother would have people over, he would have his friends over, and I was the quiet guy, and a lot of the times I would never get acknowledged, right? Just because I'm the little brother, he's just, oh, that's so-and-so's little brother. He's just, he's just there. But I remember, oh man, I'll never forget this. I remember one time, he's my best friend now, by the way. One of my brother's friends, he acknowledged me in a way where he said, hey, like he said, so he came to our house and he was there to hang out with my brother or go out with my brother. They were going to go out somewhere. And I remember, I was like, oh, it's JoJo's little brother. And what he actually did is, dude, he said, hey, what's up? Literally, hey, what's up? And he fist bumped me. And this is the first time any of my brother's friends have ever actually acknowledged me. Like, they didn't, there's my wife. Like, he didn't have to. Like, he never did that before, but when he did it that time, dude, like, it's like, wow, somebody actually cares about me. And he didn't even have to do or say anything other than, hey man, what's up? Fist bump. And that's it. And it makes a whole difference to people when you acknowledge them. And what more if you were to appreciate them, right? So one of the things I do in my life, and this is at my workplace, whenever I go to one of my clubs, if there's a new staff member, um, I always try my best, and I'm pretty good at this, but sometimes I'm just super busy. I always just be like, yo, hey, you're new. We haven't met before, right? And then I'll introduce myself. I'll be like, hey, I'm Jimmy. What's up? What's your name? And then they'll introduce, and I'll be like, oh, yeah. And I always fist bump them. And I find when I do that, I instantly create this good rapport with them that, like, I don't even know anything about them. They hardly know anything about me except I'm their maintenance guy, right? But it just opens up the relationship for that relationship to grow. And when I do that, I notice I don't know, like, I don't know anybody else that does this, but to anybody that's new, anybody who I haven't met, I'd be like, yo, hey, what's up? My name's Jimmy. What's your name? Hey, fist bump. And all of a sudden, it's like they warm up to me. Like whenever I need help, hey, you need a hand? Like there are times I don't even ask for help, and they're just like, hey, you need a hand? And it makes such a difference when we show our love, when we just acknowledge somebody, man. Like again, it's the most simplest thing. Hey, yo, what's up? Fist bump. That's the acknowledgement, man. Now, if you can do that with everybody, especially with those who you're in a relationship with or whom you don't know yet, dude, it'll bring you such ahead of the game. Like, it's amazing. Oh man, I'll never forget my best friend doing that. I guess that's why we're best friends now. which is funny because he's older than I am. So yeah, he was like my brother's age. So right now he's like he's in his mid-40s. He's old. But yeah, again, acknowledging someone and appreciating them is one of the simplest ways to love somebody. And it's shown biblically when Jesus says to his son Jesus, "This is my son, whom I love, and with him I am well pleased." So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I hope this helps you guys. Yeah. All right. Till next time. Peace.